My son accused me of lying to him for 28 years. Of lying about his father. Asterisk asterisk. My 28-year-old son accused me in front of the entire family during Sunday lunch. You've always hidden the truth about my father from me. Everyone expected me to defend myself, to cry, to beg. But I simply looked at him and said, "Then let's show the truth you've been asking for." I picked up my phone and called a number. When the person on the other end answered, my son froze. And in the next 5 minutes, everything he thought he knew about our story collapsed. My name is Helena. I am 52 years old, and I raised my son, Lucas, alone since he was 2 years old. I always worked as an administrative assistant at a public school, earning a salary of about $400 a month. It wasn't much, but it was enough to live with dignity. Lucas grew up asking me questions about his father. Mom, why did my dad leave? Didn't he love me? Does he even know I exist? I always gave the same answer. Your father couldn't stay, son. But that has nothing to do with you. You are the best thing that ever happened to me. He seemed to accept it, but I could see the hurt in his eyes. The pain of a child who feels rejected by someone he never really knew. I carried that truth inside my chest like a painful secret, believing I was protecting my boy. When Lucas turned 18, he began to pressure me more. Mom, I have the right to know who my father is. I said that when the right time came, I would tell him everything. But the truth is, I was afraid. Afraid he would hate me when he found out. 3 years ago, Lucas started dating Gabriella. She was kind, well-raised, and worked as a nurse. I liked her very much. Gabriella came to lunch at my house every Sunday, and we talked about everything. About her life at the hospital, about their plans to get married, about having children. It was on one of those Sundays that everything began to fall apart. Her mother, Mrs. Marissa, was there. After lunch, while we were having coffee, the conversation turned to family stories. Mrs. Marissa talked about how she met her husband. I shared a few stories from my youth, and then Gabriella asked, "And Lucas's father, Helena, how did you meet?" I felt a tightness in my chest. Lucas stopped using his phone and looked at me, waiting. I took a deep breath and said, "We met when we were young. It was beautiful while it lasted, but it didn't work out." It was the same vague answer I had given for years. Lucas didn't like it. "Mom, I'm almost 30 years old. Don't you think it's time for you to be honest with me?" I said we could talk about it later, in private. But he insisted. "No, Mom. I want to know now. Why do you never tell me the whole truth?" Gabriella tried to calm things down, but I could see years of accumulated hurt in my son's eyes. That Sunday ended tense. Lucas left without giving me a goodbye kiss, something he always did. In the weeks that followed, he visited less. The phone calls became fewer. 6 months later, Lucas and Gabriella got engaged. I cried with happiness when he told me. He seemed to have moved past the resentment and became more affectionate again, but I noticed that whenever the wedding came up and I asked about details, he avoided the subject. 1 month before the wedding, Lucas called me. "Mom, I need to talk to you." My heart tightened. I told him to come over on Saturday. When he arrived, he was holding an envelope. We sat in the living room, and he placed the envelope on the coffee table. "Mom, I hired a private detective." My world spun. I spent $3,500 trying to find out who my father is. And do you know what I discovered? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. As if my father were a ghost. That only proves you're hiding something very serious from me. I tried to explain, but he wouldn't listen. "Mom, I'm going to get married. I'm going to have children. And I don't want to repeat this story of secrets in my family. Either you tell me the truth, or I'll find out on my own, and it will hurt much more if I discover it another way. He left, and I stayed there alone, staring at that envelope. Inside were reports, old photos the detective had somehow obtained, registry searches, everything except the truth about Lucas's father, because I had protected that secret with all my strength. 2 weeks later, I received the wedding invitation. My name was there, Helena Costa, mother of the groom. There was no space reserved for the groom's father. It was as if that part of Lucas's story simply didn't exist. The wedding was beautiful. Lucas was emotional. Gabriella radiant. But when it was time for photos with the parents, only I stood beside him. I saw the hurt in his eyes. That absence screamed louder than any presence. In the months that followed, Lucas barely spoke to me. Gabriella called from time to time, worried. Helena, Lucas is really struggling with this. He has nightmares. Sometimes he wakes up at night looking at old photos, trying to find some clue. Can't you at least give him a better explanation? I wanted to, but I was afraid. Afraid of his reaction. Afraid of losing my son forever. Until 2 months ago, Gabriella discovered she was pregnant. Lucas called me, happy, sharing the news. Mom, you're going to be a grandmother. I cried with emotion. We started talking more again. He began visiting again, but I noticed something was different. He looked at me in a strange way, as if studying my face, searching for answers. 3 weeks ago, the whole family gathered to celebrate my sister Claudia's birthday, Lucas's aunt. Everyone was there, my siblings, nephews, in-laws, Gabriella, and her family. About 35 people in total. After lunch, we were in the living room having coffee when my older brother Mauricio began telling old family stories. Stories from when we were children. Lucas was listening, laughing, until Mauricio began talking about the time I was pregnant. Helena disappeared for a few months, he said. She said she was taking care of a sick aunt in the countryside. When she came back, she had baby Lucas. My blood ran cold. Mauricio had no bad intentions. He was just telling old stories. But I saw Lucas's expression change. He looked at me, then at his uncle, then back at me. What aunt, Mom? You never told me that story. I tried to deflect it, saying it was just an old, unimportant story. But Lucas stood up. The entire room went silent. Mom, I'm tired, he said. His voice was trembling but firm. I'm tired of living in this lie. You've always hidden the truth about my father. About everything. And now I'm going to be a father. And I can't accept that my child will grow up in a family where lying is normal. Everyone in the room was staring at us. Tears streamed down my face, but I couldn't speak. Lucas continued, his voice growing louder, more painful. Do you think I didn't notice? That there are no photos of you pregnant? That you avoid every question about my birth? I spent $3,500 on a detective and he found nothing about my father, as if he never existed. What kind of secret is this that you've kept for almost 30 years? Gabriella tried to hold his hand, asking him to calm down, but he was overwhelmed. All the hurt of years was pouring out. I'm going to be a father, Mom, and I know nothing about my own history. I don't know if my father is alive or dead. If I have siblings. If there's any genetic disease I should know about. And you just keep your secrets, as if I had no right to know my own life. Everyone expected me to defend myself. To cry. To beg for forgiveness. To invent another excuse. But I was tired. Tired of carrying that weight alone. Tired of protecting a secret that only hurt us. So I looked my son in the eyes and said, with a calmness I didn't know I had, then let's show the truth you want so badly. I picked up my phone. My hands trembled as I searched for a contact saved for years, one I never had the courage to call.